We believe it's one of the very few genuinely general management journal, where we believe it's a very broad church kind of setup, where we tend to cover possible functions of management and disciplines related to that. So on one hand, we have finance, accounting, corporate governance, sustainability. On the other hand, we also have business history and so on, supply chain management, project management, and all the other kind of main disciplines. We tend to focus on publishing solid theoretical driven manuscripts, which are also empirically investigation based kind of research. We tend to focus on multidisciplinary nature of research and, if possible, interdisciplinary research as well. We are looking for three kind of contributions, maybe a bit more than that, but this is linked with the kind of submissions we are looking for. Okay, so we are certainly looking for original papers, as I said, theoretically driven and based in solid empirical investigations. We are also looking for our regular special issues, which we tend to have one. Every year, we send out the call for proposals in November, and based on that, we make a decision. At times, what we have done, if we find more than one kind of wow special issue proposal, then we have created a combination of small mini issues. So right now we have 3 mini issues going on, which will form one special issue. Or we had, I think so very rarely and fortunately, we'll have some kind of unexpected events where we lose some remarkable scholar. And Mike Wright is the one I'm talking about, whom we lost earlier this year. So in his kind of memory, we are doing a special issue which compiles work related to his work. We also have this third kind of area where we are open for methodology related submissions. I'll briefly talk about these 3. So like most journals, when we talk about theory papers, we are looking for novel contributions. And believing a majority of the participants have a PhD or are pursuing a PhD, I believe these things are pretty clear what we are looking for. I've given some references if you guys are interested in looking into what kind of stuff, perhaps how to refer and use and so on. Empirical papers, majority of the empirical papers, they are based in primary data. But of course, we have panel data and so on. Here are some suggestions when we are looking at submissions based on secondary and primary data. So as scholars, please keep in mind some of the things which are on this slide. So please be transparent, please be open, please try to share your data from where it is coming, when it was collected, who all participated, any ethical issues, and so on. So we are pushing for that kind of transparency and understanding from where the data is coming and if it's representative of the population and so on. Further, these I call the basic fundamentals, but our observation suggests many a times the fundamentals are not in place, and it doesn't look professional and it doesn't look really nice. And for quality journals, some of these things have to be in place. Okay, so when you are putting tables or when you are reporting significance and so on, so these things should be there. And similarly, when we are reporting different findings and results, there are norms and there are ways of reporting those. So generally we are okay with the statistical significance, but many a times we ignore the economic significance if it is relevant for your piece of work and so on. Methodology Corner is pretty unique to British Journal of Management, where we are very much interested in inviting and having submissions. So far, you guys are able to challenge and find out kind of drawbacks in some existing methodologies and are able to propose something along the lines how you take things forward in that given kind of area of methodology. So I've put three kind of examples which have been published in the recent past, and you can use the link and find out more. Why papers get rejected? Okay? And this is based on our observations of the last few years. Okay, so regularly we'll find one or a combination of these reasons why a manuscript is rejected. And again, most of these are self-explanatory, but one or two of these, for example, BJM generally don't tend to publish manuscripts with a very narrow focus. For example, research can be impact of COVID-19 on operations of school in the UK, a case study of primary school in Sutton Coldfield, which is in Birmingham. So the focus would be, primary investigation would be so narrow, where we are looking for much broader focus where possible. The methodological kind of weak or description, many a times we start research with established methodological weaknesses. For example, we know linkages between certain variables can't be robustly explained on the basis of cross-sectional design and so on. And still we'll come across lots of submissions where scholars have pursued that and are trying to defend that it's a robust piece of research and so on. What constitutes a publishable paper? The first point is really important. All of them are important, but certainly we are looking at all aspects, whether the research pursued is timely, whether the topic is really interesting, whether the research problem is well developed, whether the theorizing is to the extent the way we would like to see, whether the right kind of methods have been adopted and utilized, and the last bit, which is equally important, the useful contributions a particular submission is making. Okay, fit with the journal, I think so we understand this, addressing the fundamental questions of why, how, and so on. The last point, I will just say a few sentences where historically it was acceptable if you are doing your research in a less or under-researched part of the world and simply saying this research has not been done in Nigeria or Ghana, hence it's really useful. At the moment, we have advanced and that kind of explanation is a starting point, but it's not good enough. So it's important you contextualize your research properly using the right kind of theories and then moving into the research context, if the example was Ghana or Nigeria, specific sector, and go much deeper and establish your research in that kind of field.